Hello everyone and welcome into yet another live stream. Let me copy the link. Let me pop it in to the thing. There we go.
So, switch to live chat.
Yeah, I know. There we go. Well done. I need to turn off all my apps that are not necessary. Is everything in order? I don't think it is. I feel like I'm forgetting about something, but I don't remember what I'm forgetting about. Which means it must have not been important. I know what I'm forgetting about. Okay, it was important. I don't know. It was...
Hi, Berlin.
Yep, that was important. But hold on, I'm almost ready. Punch. Fudge. Fudge. Okay, I might have... Okay. Currently, I can spit in my mind the power of stuff. Okay. Now.
Hi,
Well
Theo.
done. Hello everyone, welcome to yet another. I mean, today we will be doing stuff with a better setup. Isn't that much more nice looking than the last? Yeah, I finally make it. Are you ever gonna play Balatro? I've played it on stream for such a long time. I have. Anyway, this is the thing. I finally have a better setup than the previous one, and I am no longer using a webcam. I am right now using my full-blown camera, which is nice. I got my soldering iron right now. The only problem is when it comes to the metal part, right? This little dongle. Oh, this feels weird grabbing it. I don't have the metallic part that you would normally place it in, so that it would cool off because it broke. So I kind of have I haven't talked to you today, make it. Hi, the Catman. I haven't seen you in such a long time. What has it been? Years? Anyhow, I have a Raspberry Pi Pico. I have a Raspberry Pi Pico. I have a Raspberry Pi Pico, and I have a Raspberry Pi Pico. Could you come a little bit closer to your mic? It's kind of silent. Is it? It shouldn't be. It should be perfectly normal, because I'm speaking just like it should be perfectly normal. I haven't changed anything. What we'll be doing today is a bunch of things actually, because first of all there's a little bit of a circuit I need to plan, and for that we'll need to do some experiment. But before we get to that, I have a problem, and those are my lab power supply cables. Whilst the black one is fine-ish, the red one, I know it's kind of hard to see, but for the red one, the bottom got eaten through. Yeah, in my acid videos. It got oxidized and it just broke completely. And it's not really conducting electricity, as oxidized metals tend to. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna grab some scissors and we're just going to do this. Which is a genius move, I know. And then we're gonna just remove the... It's gonna be so safe. A huge trigger warning at the very beginning. Do not repeat anything I do on these streams, because I am... it's a bad idea. Don't ever cut power cables, alright? At the very least, this is DC what I'm doing, but don't ever cut power cables in general. Data cables, well, I wouldn't recommend if you don't know what you're doing, but they at least shouldn't harm you in any significant way. I did worse, don't worry. Alright then. I just feel like I should say this so that YouTube doesn't, you know, take me off. Anyway, how are you all doing? I can play some music. Hold on, let's play some music beforehand, because it feels weird without any music. This stuff only if you know what you're doing and never when plugged in. Exactly. That's why my cables are currently unplugged. This is where they normally go. Because it would be bad idea otherwise. Let's play some washing machine music. That's always nice. Why did the VLC show up on the stream? What the hell? That shouldn't be a thing. Okay, this, and then this. There we go. In the meantime, I think we might as well turn on the soldering iron. Yep, Timon?
Make it. Barlin says that make it translates to make it.
It does, I suppose. Don't cut power cables, make it while cutting a power cable. You don't understand, I'm a professional, right? 1984. Alright. Big government trying to tell me to not eat electrons. Why don't you use Kevin MacLeod music? Because it's very silly. It's too silly. I used to. There, we have some copper. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cannibalize my older power supply, my old. In fact, not just older, but also older. This is the good old boy. The boy I have used for the acid video, the first one, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe the second one? It might have been the second one, whatever.
Say hi.
Hi, Dority. What did you say?
I said hi.
Oh, hi. Okay. So this is the older power supply that I used before this one. This one is the proper... this is Patreon money. This is my own money. So, basically, the older one I used to use. And it ends like so in just 2 pieces of wire. And for some unknown to me reason, I just don't have wire. So I'm gonna need to cannibalize this. Yeah, I don't have proper cutters either. Oh, I don't know if this can actually get through this wire. Oh, this does not feel safe. There we go, you did it, congrats. I'm gonna leave this because I've soldered it in the past, it should work. So, look at those hands of a professional, exactly. The glass right here helps with the shakes. Okay. Oh great, washing machine noises of the music.
I'm so glad that I'm in VC so I don't hear the music.
Now we need to solder both of these together. There we go. So in order to do it, I'm just gonna take my trusty notebook, open it on a random page that has nothing on it, and we're gonna use this as the back so that I don't have to piss. No, that's... there we go. I just realized I don't have like the thing you would normally put on the cable when you're soldering it, so that it would... music might be a bit loud. So that it would not conduct electricity, so it would be safer. Ah, happens. Hold on, let me borrow your arm. Hold this. Hold this. Then, come here, you. I need you. Paper, really. It works. Shush. And then we'll do... this is still garbage. Okay, so this is a very hot iron.
Part of it is not visible because of your 3D thingy. Alright, better.
This is a very hot iron, and I'm handling it like a screwdriver, so it's not a good idea, but well happens. This is going to end well, isn't it?
Should I dial 91 in my phone?
Don't worry, I'm a professional. When has paper ever caught on fire? Am I right? 4.
I just realized that she was holding the thingy with their mouse.
What do you mean? No, I was just using my third hand. If you know what
By
I'm
the way-
talking about. Oh, this does not look safe. That's a
Do
very
the dice
naked.
roll. Do the dice roll sounds go through the mic?
That does not look safe. Alright. Exam. Bye, Thoko. Bye. Have a good one. It requires at least 5 hands in my experience. I agree. You need to hold both wires. You need to hold the soldering thing, and then you need to hold the soldering iron. Why do I feel like this is gonna end with me just knocking this on the ground and just wrecking my floor? Yeah, that looks unsafe. That looks really unsafe. Maker's mind never dies, exactly. Okay, this is really unsafe. I could just pour more solder over it. Okay. Oh, fuck it. Let's do it differently. Make it funeral live? This won't kill me. At worst, this will be just significantly financially draining. Which I just poured solder over my hand.
Does it contain lead?
I don't know.
Amazing. Where I live, the tap water that is supposedly drinkable contains a lot of lead.
You wanted to just that wasn't you asking for my well-being. You just wanted to mention that where you live there's a lot of lead, and so you asked if it contains lead.
No, it came to me after I asked you.
This is supremely. I wish I had a bit better of a setup.
Theo, on one hand you're correct, on the other hand there have been a lot of experiments to replace the LED with something, but like nothing works as well as.
It should, in theory, conduct, shouldn't it? It's a fucking health and safety hazard, and I'm certain that OSHA would have a thing or two to tell me, but in theory, hold on, let's see. No, that's a great idea. Great. Okay. All right, everyone, let's try it. Plug this in. If the motor will be spinning, then it works. It's spinning, all right. I have done a proper good job. There we go. It's always important to, after you turn off, by the way, that's a tip for any of you. If you have a lab power supply, after you turn it off, I would recommend always first using it on something after it's turned off to like decharge the cables or decharge the capacitors inside. Because really often it shocks me when I use it for something, then I turn it off and then I just attach the cables together, it just sparks or whatever. So that's a good tip for any of you. Alright, first thing done. Now what? Well, now what we would like is these. What these are is, I don't remember what they're called, but basically, the basic idea is simple. You have right here the input for your microcontroller, right here you have the voltage input and voltage output. And the basic idea is that you plug in your voltage input, which will be something like our power supply in this case. You plug in your voltage output, which will be something like the motor in this case. And then using pulse width modulation, using the microcontroller, you control the flow of electricity. And I would like to try that, honestly. I would in fact like to try that. The problem is, haven't got the slightest clue how. Hey, how hard could it be? The another problem is that we'll need to use these kinds of wires, very tiny ones, in order to actually plug everything in. Once again, what could it be? Where are my screwdrivers? Hold on, I misplaced my screwdrivers somewhere. What machine are you exactly making? Ah, the doodad, of course. I'm making the doodad. Ah, there you are. Perfect. I am making the doodad. So, first we need to unscrew these. The voltage input is on this side. So we unscrew them, like so. Then, wait, is red is the plus, correct? I don't even remember. Is red the plus? Anyone? No, whatever. I'm plugging into plus.
Leo says yes.
Okay, good. I trust you, Leo. I trust you with this component. If you're wrong, it will probably fry it. Red is live, black is ground. Doesn't tell me much. They're both live. This is the point of electricity, point of DC, they're both live. Just which way? Okay, now into the other one, we plug in the black with a very tiny wire, but that's only because our budget ran out on the big wires, so we need to use the tiny one. Means power and ground means ground. Okay, but it's confusing to me because here's the reason why it's confusing to me. Positive doesn't mean positive, if I remember correctly. If I'm not mistaken, positive means this is where the electrons are flowing from, which is negative. And I remember back when I was researching it for a video, it was very confusing. And I absolutely despise the way the naming convention for pluses and minuses works in science, because it just doesn't work. You name the thing that is constantly moving, which is the electron, as the negative, to confuse everyone for no reason. It makes sense. No, it doesn't. Plus equals minus except where they're not. Plus it's higher voltage. How does that make sense? Isn't voltage just difference of potential? And isn't that just the magnitude of the electric field, which is in the negative? So what, is that supposed to mean just like magnitude of the electric field? Is that why plus? But then we would suck because then there's no minus. It's a magnitude. Okay, there we go, it's mounted. We have this side. Along with our very safe, very safe input. Hold on. Would you mind holding it for me, dear? Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, we have that side done. Now it's time for the other side. For which, honestly, I would like to use this somehow. Because I feel like it would be easier. The only problem is I have one. Do I have another? No, it doesn't seem like I do. Okay, so what are you making, Make It? I'm making the doodad. Of course, I'm making the doodad. Where's my other wires? This isn't feel safe at all. As if that's gonna stop me. You should wrap that, John. You're right, I should. I should. Should have that joint. Average we didn't enjoy it. This music is very my first FL Studio project. I'm not telling you, it's the washing machine noises. Listen, it's the playlist I have, not the playlist I need. I could switch to jazz music if you want. At times, it feels like satisfactory music, like right now, for example. It's very similar vibe. And honestly, working on machines with satisfactory like music in the background. It feels nice. Thank goodness my power supply is off, otherwise this would be quite a scary thing to work on. It's very fitting the current mood. Thank you, I thought so too. Go. Fuck. Not screwing in anymore. Shit. Ah, whatever. It will be just kind of holding on. Who cares? What's the worst that could happen? Worst thing you can do is just fall out. How bad could it be? Since when are just the cables that fall out such a problem? Alright. What's next? Well, next we shall have another cable, which I need to make, to be fair. What's the worst that can happen? Thank you for quoting me on that. It would be really nice for a further clip. Skips 5 minutes forward. The entire thing is on fire. It's just 2 amperes, 8 volts. Alright, now let me just take this out. It's time for the other side. How am I making dungeons on the stream? I can scramble around the door again. I am bad at making music, so I cannot do it myself. Alright. There we go. Fuck, I've cut away the copper. Alright. Gotta be more careful. I've cut away even more copper. I keep doing this. Right, now copper, you stay. I am gonna lose it.
Don't you have a cable PR?
Nope.
You know you can 3D print those and use an average blade, and
An average
yeah.
blade. What do you mean by an
An
average blade?
The
Sometimes I think, but then I forget. Make it invest in cable strippers. Yeah, maybe I will.
this one I can send in on Discord. Like,
Gonna send me a blade on Discord. That's a death threat if I ever had one.
like that thing.
Oh, the glass cutter. I think that's what it's called. I don't know.
Who the hell uses? That's for anyway. So like, I know you can just use.
I don't have those either.
Oh, well then. Yeah, that's an issue.
Our budget is mainly only spent on bearings. There we go, finally! Got there in the end. Gee whiz. Okay, now
I don't know, I just assume that you have those because I don't know. It just feels like a pretty basic tool for me. But I live in a weird place, so I don't count.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Cable strippers and cable hookers. I need both. Yeah, well, I've been watching cable news recently and I haven't seen anything about cable strippers. So I'm gonna spend 3 hours on just this piece of wire alone. Hold on. There we go, that worked. That worked really well. Now it's time to... a little bit and plug it in. Alright, that's good enough, but fortunately nothing a little bit of brute force can't fix. Not scared, make it accent of breathing or something. I don't get so easily scared.
Okay, well, not breathing, but like anything. Like, I don't know, I didn't want to risk it. That could have ended really badly.
There's exposed wire here that will be running to a lab power supply. I think our safety issues are somewhere else.
Isn't
This entire thing can end really badly if I'm not careful.
I do what I can do to not bad stuff.
You know what's a fun fact? Unless on Discord there's a stream of me actively doing something, you don't even know what I'm doing on the Patreon chat. This is not the first time I'm cutting it like this. And I have done it on the voice chat. You don't know. You don't... on the internet, no one knows you're a cat. My goodness, this is... the wire is too small. It is the kind of wire that you can pop into breadboards. And it's just really, really tiny for doing something like this. It's starting to be a bit of a problem. I can like bend it in a creative way. Okay, I guess. The screws are also really shitty. I've grown to love the hexagonal screws because they are much easier to screw in and out. These just break too easily. Looks at lump. Wait, what? Much large outlet switch both outlets. Wait. CPU, so CPU on a lamp. You can have a CPU on a lamp if you over-engineer it correctly. I feel like more lamps need a CPU if anything. This entire setup is... well, you can see it. It's... I wouldn't call it exactly OSHA compliant. But yeah. It should work-ish, I hope, fingers crossed. Now... now for the tricky part, actually. We need to connect this to the ground on the Raspberry Pi and the PWM. You know what? I'm just going to lower the amperage down to 100 amperes, 100 milliamperes, I mean. Not 100 amperes, good to say. 100 milliamperes, just in case, because I feel like it could end badly if I don't. Alrighty then. I have to get Bones of Dead device in the spirit of fuck OSHA, we ball. Exactly. Now. I'm thinking about how to do it the easiest way. But I don't have much of a thought head empty. I could use jumper cables because I have a bunch. And I feel like that would be easier for prototyping a bit. I have a bunch of jump cables. So what we could do is we could plug in the ground. Where is it? Oh yeah, make it. Touch it when it's just been live. Great idea. Ground is right here. At least that should be ground. Lord knows I have no idea what I'm doing. This should be ground. So I'm just gonna plug it into the third pin on the Pico if I remember correctly. Well, plug-in is a bit of a relative term, considering how it is getting held up by hopes and dreams, which is an Undertale reference. There we go. Now it's actually holding. And then the second one, which is the PWM. For which this is too short. I don't have all my jump cables. When making this chemistry, honestly, wait, what? This stream is rage-inducing. Why? I'm a rage baiter, I can't help it. I think that should be the ground. If not, then it won't be, but... Whoops! Happens. Anyway. Now on to you. Yep, you're beeping. I know you're excited. Such a mess. Okay. Careful, make it. You'll trigger all the armchair electricians. I know. That's my goal. I always trigger all the armchair electricians, chemists, mathematicians, physicists. All of them. Absolutely all of them is required.
What does armchair mean in this context?
It means like people who do something as a hobby but consider themselves extreme experts.
Ah.
Yeah. Testicle, which is a... Alright, now let me just... where's the coding one? Coding. There we go. Now we need to do the thing that we do. That's not what I would have did right there, average make it viewer. This is true. I can't even stream up correctly apparently. Well, who needs to see most of these things? I'm just gonna move the camera a bit more to the left. Like this, there we go, and then we're gonna... What? Perfect. Perfection. Then, because Pico just has a wonderful add-on. I was just following the teacher. Okay, C++, because I have mental issues which require me to use C for everything. Now this is Pico W, if I'm not mistaken. It's still blinking. Well, we can see it right there. It's still blinking. Now the example we want is PWM. Hello PWM. Yes, ideally. And then just create.
I'm gonna go do the laundry. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm glad that I'm using every single kind of connection I can for this. I'm using jump cables. I'm using randomly soldered wire, the big ones, tiny ones. So this is the official, not official. Tiny wires right here. I'm using every single kind of connection I have. It's blinking because it's on life support. It's actually blinking because I told it to. You have 0 and 1. PWM set wrap slice number. Slice number is... Check out the slice number. And find out which PWM slice is connected to GPIO 0. That makes sense. Then set period of 4 cycles. Yeah, we'll need to... Well, we are doing corrective 0, so this is what we want. He told him to get life support, yeah, it would need it. Also, bother you to assume it's a him. You know what they say about assuming, it makes an ass of you and me. A channel to put high for 1 cycle before dropping. B to high for 3 cycles before dropping. Okay. Well, I could just run it. You know, nothing bad has ever happened from just running it. So, compile. I could just run it and hope for the best. That usually should work, right? I made it male. Quite a power. That's irresponsible amount of power. Flash project, I guess, I don't know. No device in boot so found, that makes sense. what I'm doing is like... I'm just trying to do it quickly, although probably it would be better if I didn't do it quickly, only if I did it in a smart way. Said make it before just carrying on. RP device failed. Oh, what is your problem this time? Oh my goodness, what is your problem this time? Hold on, I need to do the fix. Wait, what did it say by the way when I said run project? Because it should give me an error. Location, fix. Exit code 9. You're not gonna tell me what exactly. Oh, great. Sweet, hold on, I need to look it up. Also you and Amption. Exactly. Code Raspberry Pi Pico C extension code. In the meantime, we might as well it's blinking. If I twist it correctly, it's blinking. Hold on. If I hold it like this... Oh, it's when I plug in the ground it fails. So if I do this... And if I plug in this cable... Kids, don't ever work with a life circuit like I do, alright? Don't. Just don't. It's not recommended. Why does me plugging in the ground turn off the diode? That's not how it should work at all. Do as I don't do as I do. This is mad, when I plug in the ground to the thing that should be the ground, it's turning off. Okay. Let's you know what, let's do it in a bit of a more of a proper way, which will mean me taking this. I just got shocked by electricity because I touched the ground on the Raspberry Pi Pico and I touched the wire on the turned off lab power supply. I told you, you always need to decharge it after you turn it off because otherwise you're gonna get shocked like I did. Even though I touched two different grounds, funny enough. Let me plug it in like right here. Ground into the ground. PWM into the PWM. Now this, it's in place right now. The diode is like shining red. Can you see it on stream? I don't know if you can. But like the diode, if I plug this in, it's blinking red. It's not anymore. Have I bent it? That'll be fun. Hold on, let me bring a clean one that's not connected for now. So let's try with this. We have PWM is right here. It's middle. I don't want to solder it because if I solder it, I'll hide already. Why did you just change your profile? Now this looks more like a wolf. About time.
It works. Oh yeah, I need a profile picture for my alt. So I just generated one real quick.
Yeah, it finally looks like a wolf.
I'm gonna change it so it looks more abstract.
So it looks less like a wolf, so that people get confused when you tell them it's a wolf.
It's a wolf. Look at my original profile picture.
It's not. It's a schizophrenic delusion is what it is. It's you not taking your pills if you think that's a wolf.
Do you know how much effort I put into that wolf?
There are 6 pins there. However, this doesn't make much sense. In theory, this should be the PWM. And this should be the ground. If it only worked, that would be neat. Okay, Ryunbutsu, hold on. Raspberry Pi Pico error 9.
Some things in chat I have to very much discuss. No furry arc. I was forced to do a what is it? Every philanthropist has a animal type profile picture.
That is true.
I was forced to do it as well.
That is true. Even the original account also has a wolf, as you claim, but...
Yes, but I needed to do it here and more in the style of the philanthropist. So yeah. The original wolf, it was a school assignment. We had a workshop or something and we did it there. And after that I adjusted a tiny bit of it.
Why
Not much.
don't you just work? Oh, this time Windows not even gonna recognize it? That's cool. There. Stop unplugging it. Stay there. Run the project.
Why don't you say that Positron is a furry enjoyer? He likes bats more than I like wolves.
Well, are you asking people why Mark isn't calling? Because everyone is calling Timon a furry anyway, so...
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that.
And Timon very aggressively trying to deny that just makes it so much funnier. Oh, it can disconnect because of the PWM. Hold on, this could be actually good news. Yes! It lives! You can't see it. Hold on, let me... Can you see that red LED? That should be good news. But I need to plug it in now somehow. I need to somehow... Like, I don't want to solder it. To be fair, I have like 70 of them. I could just solder one. Nah, whatever. Let's solder them. The only problem being that in order for me to solder them, I need to, like, I don't know, get the cables. It lives! Yes, yes! My devilish plans are on their way. This is my professional... my professional wire cutter. The complex plane of furriness as and gender. I don't know why it's so funny, but it is funny. Or it's more like a spectrum. Alright, this should be enough. Let's see. This works just beautifully as a cutter, honestly. There, look at this. Look how painless that was. There we go. Now, what we can do is we can plug in this right here as our signal, and then we can solder it to the signal. Why? Well, it's because if we don't, then the connection will be just non-existent. The connection will be just appearing, disappearing out of nowhere, not what we want. Instead, we can just solder it, make the pain go away. Adjacent to the furry community for years now, I never feel like making it for Sona. Why not? You've made one for Timon. have been assigned one at some point. Was it a frog? Wait, frogs aren't scalies, are they? Are they? Wait, what are frogs? No, hold on. I have a question because you have the fairies, you have the scalies, you have the beakies, which are in power armor, of course. What are frogs? Because frogs don't have scales, do they? I need someone who knows about fairy stuff to answer me this. Riddle me this, Batman. That's a very ugly solder, but you know what? You take what life gives you. When life gives you lemons, you make Gatorade. Okay, I hope this works. If it doesn't, then whoops. Beakies. Well, yeah, beakies. I made just some. I can't speak in like old English like an orc. I've been assigned a frog dog. Frog dog sounds so cool. Mountain chicken. Frog dog. I do have to say, I agree with Theo being a frog dog. That just fits. Frogs aren't the scariest corner, you could just go with amphibian. But what would they be? Amphibians? I don't know, that sounds wrong. They're not scalies. They don't have scales, they don't have furs, then they don't have feathers. Skinnies. Frogs are just frogs. Froggies. Froggies would be... It's the froggies! Oh mate, it's the froggies! The froggies do not belong in the fairy community. Ribbies. Oh, ribbies of slimes. Slimes is so mean. Feels like someone angry at frogs, just calling them slimes. Theo, I have a question for you. Do you consider yourself a toad enjoyer? Toads are cool too, yes. Alright, I see. You're inclusive. I've seen some people who like frogs but aren't too fond of toads. That just happens. A froggy is a small beast with 4 legs. A froggy. What does this stream has become? I am cutting like a wire using a whatever it's called. Listen, it's not about what this stream has become. That's where it started. I still remember those days. 2 years ago it was, I tell you. 2 years ago. No, I was still young and handsome back then. Now I'm only handsome. I'm not crazy. Yep.
Don't forget underfed.
Underfed. Okay, there we go. Now plug this into the ground, which if my memory does me well, should be the third one. If I plug it in now, it already works fairly well, but I want it to work really well, so instead we're gonna solder it. We're gonna make this permanent, because why not? One thing that's kind of curious to think about that people don't all that often consider is that. Hold on, because you probably can't hear me too well. One thing that's curious to think about that people don't always often consider is that when you buy a component, you not only need to check how much current it needs, how much voltage it needs, you also need to check its thermal resistance and how much temperature it can like handle, basically. It's a genuine problem because most people don't consider the fact that when you solder a component onto something, the temperature can actually damage it, and you do need to make it hot in order for it to actually solder. And it's just curious, when you buy these components line, you actually do get the temperature it can handle. As a fairy, I hate that we are grouping the community. It's a fetish, not a problem. What is that supposed to mean? Toads are just roughed up frogs. You know what I think, Theo? And I would like to, as someone who is quite experienced in the topic of frogs, in the study of frogs, I would like your take on it. I personally believe that frogs should be spelled with a PH instead of an F. I personally believe that was a much better spelling of the word frog. You know what? I'm gonna burn this sucker, but let's try it. We should actually just plug in the cable, I guess. Oh, this setup is quite something, but it should work. You know what? Sometimes that's all that matters. Sometimes all you need is just for it to work once. I'm gonna use 2 red cables because fuck logic. Understandable, I support this notion, exactly. I think that they made the frogs gay. Make freaking frogs gay. I hate it when they make my frogs gay, honestly. But also, if they make my gays frog, that also happens. Way more often than you'd expect. Hidden. There we go. Now we plug this in right here. It's hanging on mostly on the hopes and dreams. But if Undertale taught me anything, then it's that should be enough. I haven't played Undertale. It's gonna be fun to plug into. I should have started with this side because this side is a bit easier to get in there. Okay. This song kind of sounds like the song Fine by the Lemon Demon. Am I schizo on this? Am I delusional? Or it would be fine, it would be fine, it would be fine. I'd like to win the cat, please. Make the freaking gays frog. Okay, this is holding. Or some the other one. The problem is that Itty's big alpha wolf is covering what I'm doing right now. I'll need to make us smaller.
Well, I was kind of hoping that a invisible profile picture would annoy you, so because the stream wouldn't be centered, like it would be a random gap and at the
As if
corner.
I care.
But nothing happens, so yeah. Maybe a big profile picture then.
Most ideal life and lifestyle: spent all childhood eating, teen years sleeping, adult life fucking, compulsory nocturnal, covered in bones, and look good the whole time. I have a friend who's a moth, so I appreciate that. I appreciate that take. I do agree. Moths are great. Okay, now I'm just gonna screw it. Stay in. Perfect. Great. Oh, one last input. And then we're done. Well, if it works, then we're done. If it's not, if it doesn't, then I might cry. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Okay, so this is not connected. Don't disconnect now, I'm about to turn it on. Alright! Lads and lasses, I present to you the Falmer Blood Elixir. Nothing happened. Okay, well that's unfortunate. First of all, let me take my scissors and... There we go, to decharge them. Now, I'm assuming the reason why nothing happened is because these were not adequately connected. Oh, curious, depending on the angle I hold it, the LED shines brighter or dimmer. That's a great sign. It appears that in the air, somewhere around this position, there we go. This is the best. Most optimal. I could just hold this cable. Alright then, let's do it. Oh, wait, is it working? Hold on. Let's increase the current to like 1. It's spinning! Shit! It worked! It worked! You all haters doubted me. Using scissors, by the way, you can't see it, but I'm using scissors to touch like the unsoldered part of the wire and the other wire when it's holding. It worked! Take that, haters. There we go. Cool, now what we can do is we can actually install a button, which there's one right there. And what we can do is we can check if that button is connected. Let's install that button somewhere where that won't shock me. Go ahead, Zami, make it 25 shortly before combusting. Oh, you hater, oh, Blackhand, I know you're a hater. And you're just... And right now just digging yourself into even more of a hole. You're just jealous that this time it's me who's getting shocked. Raspberry Pi Pico pin out. Okay, where's the ground? If I was a hater, you wouldn't paying you. You'd be surprised. The amount of hate. I feel like some people on Patreon just give me money in order to like shout at me louder. I genuinely think that's a thing for a lot of people. What do we have? Hey, I mean, I get it. My ego does need a bit of a step down now and then. 1, 2, 3, then we have 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this should be the ground. pin number... Oh, which pin is it? Pin number 10. Wait, no, 9. 7. Pin number 7. That should be the button. I just say it funny. I get it. Okay. Raspberry Pi people detect button press. Because then what we can try to do, I don't know how pulse width modulation actually works. I really should have asked Tefta before this stream. That's because if I can figure out the button press, where is it? C code. No, that's Python. Washing machine music. Okay, simple button press. I found the code. Oh, let me just copy it and let's dissect it right here. Basically, the way it works is we initialize the button pin, which is 7. I don't know. I'm guessing it's 7. And then LED pin, we do not care. Now in pull down, right, no, we won't want a 7, no, we will want whichever that is, right there. Or from the end. What am I doing in life? 4 from the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 16. So I've connected pin number 16 to pin number 14 right now. So let's do 16. Wait, no, pin number 16, but that's GPIO 12. And so the other one will be 10. Right. This music really does sound like just washing machine noises. I could just try it in a bit of an easier way. I guess I could just turn on and off the PWM with a button, which would kind of demolish the purpose of this bit, but it would achieve a very similar test, which is I want to see if it's actually getting controlled or not. If it's not getting controlled, then oh no. If it is getting controlled, however, then we have already achieved greatness. The only problem is plugging null in. There's a text which pings everyone. What do you mean? YouTube? Right. Just go and plug yourself in. Go on. Do the thing. Do the thing. Do the doodad. Do the dads. struggling too much, and then let's plug it in. Okay, the button is right underneath a live wire, but you know what? Sometimes you just need to deal with it. Oh yeah, right, I need to plug this in as well, because I'm plugging it in manually. Oh, okay. That's what I was worried about, yeah. I just touched the live wire. I wasn't thinking, I just touched it. It didn't do anything, but you know, just still, not great. That's what I was worried about. It's always on. Oh, but now it's off. Oh, I see. So it's just turning it off, that's the issue. Well, that's a pretty big fucking problem still though, isn't it? That's still a really big issue. I'm working with it when it's live, but you know, sometimes you just need to take the risks in life, and sometimes you just need to be the idiot. Because who else will? Alright. As I mentioned at the very beginning, don't do as I do.
I have returned.
Welcome back.
I.
Okay, now what we need to do is just plug this in manually because I didn't put it together. Now when I press the button, the LED does light up. However, it doesn't actually do anything. Like I can control the LED, as you can see, with the button. Turn it off. Let's try to screw the... Oh, because it fell off the freaking thing! Well, that explains it. Alright. Okay, so I'll be holding it with one hand, like this. To plug in the wire. And the button does absolutely nothing, it's just permanently on. The motor is just permanently... No wait, No. I cannot tell if the button is turning it off or if I'm just schizophrenic. Which might be, I don't know which one it might be actually. Shove it in there. Alright, there we go. It holds. That's all we care about. Now it's spinning. I press the button and nothing happens. When I turn the button off, it does get weaker. It just broke. It just yoinked itself out. It committed a suicide. Okay, so I don't... It's not working. Shit. It's fine. It speeds up. No, it speeds up until I press the button and then it slows down. It's a slow down button. Which is a problem because we don't want a slow down button. We want a turn off button. Which are two very different kinds of buttons. Why? Is it too high of an amperage for you? I could just ask TurfTab or PWM. Because it slows down. But I don't think we want it to slow down when it turns off. Let me take a look at the date sheet again. Was there a name on it? I don't think there is. Yeah, there isn't really a name. Ay, 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 ay. Technically, if I'm reading into it correctly, it should handle up to 8 volts and 3 amperes. Yeah, it very much doesn't. Okay. You just go in and stay there, preferably. I cannot unscrew this, which is a big issue because it... There we go, I think I did. But now I also unscrewed the second one. Piss. Okay, so now it's hanging on properly. If I turn it on, that turns on. It is a speed up button. But why is it the speed up button? That's not what we want. We do not want it to be a speed up button. Okay, well, I'll need to do more research on this. Yeah. But you know what, before we go, let's end with something fun. I will need to do more. The reason why I'm ending early is because I still haven't finished the video. I was trying to mask that fact today by doing a completely separate kind of stream, but yeah, I still haven't finished it. It's going really slowly. I am not doing well. But let's end with something fun. The thing is, Black Thunder, Catburn, Theo, Itty, you'll know what this is. Everyone else doesn't. Now what I want to do is I want to see how high of a current can I give it. Which is a very responsible thing to do. Especially since this white wire I'll be using probably cannot handle this kind of current. But hey. That's...
You did tell me what it was, but I don't know what it is.
I've showcased you what it was before the live stream.
You said this is a ohms.
You don't remember what happened when I plugged it in?
Oh, that, yes.
It's that, yes!
Okay.
Now, let's turn on my power supply. Now, so far it's with 8 volts and 2 amperes, and You can't see it all that well most of the time. You can hear it. I want to see what happens if I crank up the current. Oh, it's 1 current, sorry. 1 ampere. What happens if I crank it up to like, I don't know, F3? I love this thing. Okay, well, to be fair, my power supply can go up to 5 currents, 5 amperes. Shall we try 5? Okay, first of all, let's lower it down to 0 for a second. Now, this is the... I don't remember the proper name for this... I don't remember the proper name for this component, but what it basically does is it takes in a high current, high voltage, well, high-ish voltage, and turns it into really high voltage with low current. Now, when it comes to ionizing the air, if I remember correctly, the equation, it was 1000 volts per centimeter or millimeter. If you want to have an arc in the air. It was something like that. So basically, if you have a lot of volts, the way it actually works is you ionize the gas. It's really fun. And you need, of course, enough of a voltage to push the electrons through it enough. I might do a video about this. And what this component does is it creates a lot of voltage, a lot of potential, which is fun. 0.25 amperes, 12 volts. That's not a lot. Wait, what do you mean? I can do it if you want. 0.25. Let's do 0.3 and 12. Then, now it's 0.3 and 12. Nothing. 0.3 and 12 is enough. However, if I turn it up to 4... Oh, the wire is really hot. Okay, that's enough. This is the problem. This is the problem of the circuit. This wire cannot handle 4 amperes. Let me decharge the wire first. There we go. This right here cannot handle it. It looks chunky, but it isn't chunky enough. So yeah. The sizzling of rubber. That's why it was sizzling. Yeah, this is fine. Well, okay, the front is a bit hot, but I mean, we did just have like a 4 centimeter long arc at the end. That's to be expected. Oh, that was fun. We should do that again sometime, and we will. We certainly will. How do you like my new setup, everyone? I finally got the big boy camera to work.
I love it.
Yeah, isn't that something? We're gonna do a lot more of these streams. Unfortunately, as I mentioned today, I need to go to finish the video. Oh well. I suppose that'll be it. Through an unrated circuit. Wow, this got hot. Well, I mean, I thought when I was plugging it in, I knew this would get hot. In my defense, I knew this would happen. This was calculated risk. And I am good at math, apparently, because I didn't burn anything down. Anyway, for now, I suppose that'll be it. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching, and have a great day.